So, good day everyone. This is Josiah Calibo, a BA Mass Communication student, and allow me to discuss with you the DPWH scandal that has shaken the nation to its core. So, this is a story emerging from the province of Bulacan. It is a story that goes beyond allegations of corruption. It is a story that strikes at the very foundation of public safety and trust. So, the testimonies of former DPWH engineers have painted a chilling picture that the very infrastructure meant to protect us from disasters may have been built to fail, putting millions of lives at risk and squandering hundreds of billions of pesos in public funds. So today, we will break down this complex scandal. We will break down into three critical parts: the grave threat to our safety, the urgent call for systemic change, and the demand for accountability. And we will see how this is not just a Bulacan problem, but a national crisis. So first and foremost, the threat to public safety and well-being. So let's localize this. Bulacan is a province north of Metro Manila. So it is a crucial floodplain. It's our first line of defense against typhoons coming from the Pacific. And annually, we face an average of 20 tropical cyclones with about 5 being destructive typhoons. So the flood control projects here are not just about convenience, but they are a matter of life and death for its over 3.7 million Filipino people. Now, the testimony engineers Bryce Erickson Hernandez and JP Mendoza stated that since 2019, numerous projects in Bulacan use cheaper, longer drying cement and substandard materials. So this wasn't an oversight. It was a clear deviation from approved plans. The result? Infrastructure that is weaker, less effective, and ultimately a fraud. In the previous typhoons, when typhoons like Odette or Ulysses hit, these substandard structures don't just fail to protect. They can actually aggravate flooding. The public funds meant for our protection have been turned into a source of public peril. It is an insult to injury that some projects certified as complete were allegedly ghost project or non-existent projects, never built at all. So this means that when the floods come, people are relying on defenses that exist only on paper. And this brings us to the second point: the overwhelming demand for immediate accountability and justice. The scandal has names, testimonies from former District Engineer Henry Alcantara, directly implicated Ako Bicol party list, Representative Zaldico in bribery, with cash allegedly exchanged in hotels. The National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI, has recommended charges of indirect bribery and malversation against high-ranking officials, including Senators Joel Villanueva and Jingoy Estrada, and former DPWH Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo. Now, it's crucial to note that these are allegations, and those implicated have denied them. Due process must be followed. However, the fact that the Department of Justice has granted witness protection to these engineers and contractors, it signals the gravity of the evidence. So the public's anger isn't just about legal technicalities. It's fueled by the perception of a stark injustice. The alleged kickbacks average around 20% of the project cost. That's 20% less concrete, 20% fewer enforcements, 20% directly pocketed, while the quality of our bridges and dikes is compromised. And this happens while some officials display lavish lifestyles. And this is seen not as a reward for success, but as an insult to every Filipino who suffers through traffic on crumbling roads or flees their home from preventable floods. And this leads to the third and most critical point: the call for systemic change. So this is not just an isolated case. This is why the scandal has sparked mass protests like the Trillion Peso March. Protesters are framing that this is a bureaucratic capitalism, a systemic disease where a network of officials and contractors exploits public funds for private gain. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. himself acknowledged the severity, calling the anomalies horrible. He cited a staggering number: 9,855 flood control projects worth over 545 billion since mid-22, and he has ordered an independent probe. But the public demand is going beyond a one-time clean-up. The call is for lasting reforms to eradicate the opportunity for corruption at every level. This means, first, transparency, making all projects, contracts, specifications, and completion reports easily accessible to the public online. Second is the civil society oversight, involving credible citizen groups and engineering organizations in the monitoring and acceptance of projects. Third is the strengthened penalties, so ensuring that convictions for corruption involving public infrastructure carry severe deterrent punishments. So how do we nationalize this? So, the alleged misdeeds in Bulacan are a symptom of disease and a symptom of sickness that can infect any project in any provinces. So, from a road in the Visayas to a school building in Mindanao, every peso lost to corruption is a peso not spent on quality education, healthcare, or disaster resilience. So, this scandal is a wake-up call. It forces us to ask, are we building a nation on a foundation of substandard sand? The answer lies in whether we, as a nation, can transform our outrage into a sustained movement for genuine accountability and systemic integrity. So the safety of millions depends on us. Thank you.